Good morning. Welcome back to the Football Terrace. John Cross, Arsenal correspondent, has confirmed that Stan Kroenke, KSE and Arsenal, their board collectively, have come to a decision over the future of Mikel Arteta. We know that it's been a disastrous, calamitous season at times for Arsenal Football Club, falling at the final hurdle of the Europa League in relation to making that final, nowhere near Champions League qualification, losing almost as many games in the Premier League as they have won this year, and currently projecting to finish around 9th in the table. But it's understood that Stan Kroenke and the board of Arsenal Football Club will not. The decision they've come out over the sacking of Mikel Arteta is to not sack him, and it is to stand by him and keep him at the club for at least one more year. There's been a lot of speculation. There's been a lot of speculation out there over the past few weeks. A number of reports that have been given to us, and when I say us, I mean the football world, not the Football Terrace directly, from people like Tancredi Palmari, and a number of other Italian and Spanish outlets have said that the Arsenal board were unhappy. The Arsenal board were looking to move Mikel Arteta on. But it does now seem to be the case. We've had Dean Jones report this. John Cross is now saying the same thing, that Mikel Arteta will remain at Arsenal Football Club next year. So the decision, I believe, through reading between the lines, reading various articles, that it was on the agenda. They discussed the sacking of or the removal of Mikel Arteta, but their decision around him has been to keep him at the club. He will stay next season. It is highly unlikely from this point that we will see Mikel Arteta sacked from Arsenal Football Club. In other news, we want to delve into a little bit later in this video, is there's a big link to this is from Tom Canton from 101 Goals, and also the Arsenal Talk podcast, who has said that Arsenal were doing everything to try and bring Eduardo, I'm going to pronounce his name wrong, Camavinga, to Arsenal Football Club. Now, we know Bayern Munich, Real Madrid have been looking at this young man. He is 18 years of age. He's dubbed the next Paul Pogba, although Paul Pogba is still playing. And there's a big link this morning that Arsenal Football Club have been working secretly to try and bring him into the club. Now, French outlet Latin Sport, and I don't know how credible they are. They are the outlet that has reported this from France. Has been picked up this morning by Tom and his team over there at Guna Talk TV. Is that the kind of signings that are going to turn the Arsenal fans' heads? Are these the kind of signings that are going to get everybody on board? And are they the kind of profile of player that's really going to help Arsenal maneuver themselves forward next year? That's the big question that we want to pose to you this morning. We want to hear from you. We want you to have your say. Comment here says, I jinxed the link to Camavinga yesterday. If we can get him, I'm responsible. Fair enough. Arsenal fans gloating about relegating West Brom. A quantum of solace is what I would say. Talk about Camavinga. We are going to speak about that on today's show. They are the two big talking points for us today. Here's what the article says. I'll read the article out to you. It says, Arsenal reportedly working behind the scenes to make the deal happen. According to our information, Arsenal are doing everything they can and have perfectly positioned themselves to land Camavinga. The Camavinga's deal runs out at the end of next season, and Rennes would surely prefer a big money move now to instead of him leaving on a free. They go on to say in the article that the deal is below the 50 million euro valuation, and Arsenal would need backing from their owners KSE to get the deal done, plus other work needs to be done in the summer. Should the Gunners pull off this major coup, it could be one of the signings of the summer, possibly greater. So it's already been built up, this, isn't it? This Camavinga deal is a huge deal. A massive splash can be made. Let's go to some of your comments on this. I want your thoughts and your feelings on Arteta staying. John Cross has reported it. Dean Jones has reported it. And multiple others have also said the same thing. I believe they've made the decision in the last week. But why? Why are they sticking with Mikel Arteta? And is this the right decision? I want your opinions. Remember, as we say here, this is my show, but it's your stream. Or the other way around. My stream, your show. My stream, your show sounds better. I've got to get that down, you know. David says, Arteta in, please. Julian here says, anyone who is playing in European competitions isn't going to sign for Arsenal. No European football. Where is the appeal? That is an interesting take there. Annie here says, "What? This is why Arsenal fans should focus on the board until Kroenke goes. Nothing changes." Carl here says, "Look, is Arsenal snatch Camavinga? Then I'm impressed. I was the same when they got Partey. To be fair, I hear you that Camavinga wants to play Champions League football." Rather than being in the Conference League. I mean, they may not even be in the Conference League, to be fair, but the Premier League's still got to be a big draw, right? The Premier League still has to be a big draw for anybody. I don't think we can't just discount that, surely. Surely we can't. George here says, this is why it was so important for a huge protest yesterday at Arsenal. Arsenal missed a huge chance to put more pressure on the club. We have the super chat that's come in here. This is from Chris, who says, your deep football chat yesterday on the Arsenal stream about opinions being mistaken for hate, clout chasers, and online abuse resonated with me. I hear you. I think it's... I really enjoyed last night's show because it kind of went a little bit away from football, but I stand by what I said. I'm no longer interacting with people or giving opinions as much as I can on Twitter anymore, because people take it the wrong way. People legitimately take it the wrong way. Even last night, I got a text message. Somebody said to me, are you calling me out for not being at the protest? I said, no. I said, I haven't, I didn't even think about you. He's like, yeah, but you said Arsenal fans should be there. I said, no, I didn't. I said, if Arsenal fans really want the Kroenkes out, then they need to be protesting and they need to be making actions. I don't know what you really want. I'm not calling anybody, but people take everything very, very personally. And I don't think you should. If somebody's directly calling you out or saying things directly about you, take it personally. But often it's like, oh, I don't agree on your opinion on Pepe. Why'd you hate me? Where'd that come from? Ronnie here says, Pepe out, Smith Rowe out, Martinelli out, Willian in, David Luiz in, Bellion in. Ronnie throwing a bit of salt there this morning. We're going to send the link out very, very soon for you to come on and have your say, as ever. DJ here, one of our members, says Camavinga would be an excellent signing if Banter FC put it off. It's just news. It's just news to please the Arsenal fans with all the crap going on with the protest, the paper over the cracks. This is not me being salty. I hear you on that. And one thing I say to Arsenal fans is, well, you know, where's this bid from Daniel Ek as well? We were told by people close to Daniel Ek the bid was coming in at the end of last week. Where is it? I think that's important as well. Terry, what is your prediction for the London Derby on Wednesday? We'll be doing a preview for that tomorrow evening, so we will save it until then. But we will be doing a nice preview and a nice build up to that. Terry, remember when Arteta was the heir to Pep? Lampard could do no wrong and Ollie was a PE teacher. By the way, I told you 21 is coming. Russell, do you know what would be mad, right? If Man United win both their games this week and Newcastle beat Man City on Friday. I just want to see what would happen. But no, look, listen, the Ollie thing, I still haven't changed my mind about Ollie. I just don't. What I find so strange about the Ollie conversation is I still stand by the fact that I don't think he's good enough to make us win a major title. But I want to be wrong. But equally, I'll praise him. I think the unbeaten away record is a great foundation. I think the way we come from behind is a brilliant mentality. We've improved the quality of the football. We've improved the goals we scored. We generated more points. There's something to be positive about in the Ollie circumstance. But a lot of people still just want to act like I don't care about any of that. Until we win Premier League titles, none of that means anything. But I suppose it's about the step change, getting back to where we need to be. Let's do a few more of these comments. Wing Chun Empire here says, if Arsenal target players not playing in Europe like Basuma and Camavinga and sell Deadwood, they might have a chance at progressing even under Wenger. Sorry, even under Arteta. I think what's true about what you say, and I think he's absolutely right, is the sense of I want to make sure I say this in the right way. It's that sense of even Mikel Arteta. One thing that, again, a positive about Arteta is he hasn't lost the dressing room. But I do think there are issues with professionalism at the football club. And it does appear that the Tierney's, the Sakas, the Smith Rowes are working hard. They don't like that. Maybe it's getting out the bad characters that bring the mood down and instilling people that really want to be there, even if the quality's lower, and you build from that point. There's a tweet here from Jan Fjortoff about Sancho. It says, Man United are still going for him. Liverpool and Klopp are also keen on the player, but have to sell either Salah or Mane to get the deal done. With respect to what Jan Fjortoff has said there, that is what I told you 2-3 weeks ago. I spoke to a leading agent and sports consultant in the UK. We're very open about this and said Liverpool will only sign a big player this summer if Salah or Mane leave. This notion that they're going to sign a Sancho but keep Salah and Mane at the same time is folly. It isn't going to happen. So what Jan Fjortoff has said, I agree with. It's exactly what I was told by a leading sports consultant just a few short weeks ago. And it marries up very much with all the major reports around Liverpool's link to big players. They are going to have to sell before they buy. This notion that they're not is just wrong. It literally, so what Fjortoff has said there, 110% agree with completely. 100% right on that. Let's do some more of these comments here. Make sure that like button is being hit, ladies and gentlemen. And anyone who's new and who has just tuned in, the update in relation to Mikel Arteta is thus. The board, the Kroenkes, have discussed the potential sacking and the future of Mikel Arteta, and they have decided what their decision is, that he will remain at the club for the course of next season. He will not be getting sacked this summer, and they are looking to make a splash. Well, their words is they are looking to make a splash in the transfer market this summer to give him the tools and the squad to make him capable of progressing Arsenal forward. My questions to you are this, though. Is that the right decision to keep Mikel Arteta at Arsenal? Secondly, are they going to land the stars and the players needed to help him progress? And thirdly, accumulating both those points together, amalgamating them together, even with the right players, is Arteta good enough to progress Arsenal forward? Those are the questions that I want to hear from you on this morning. We're going to be opening up the lines very, very soon for you to come on and have your say. Keep those super chats coming in as well. It's very important to us. I did want to point out one thing as well, though, while we're live on the air right here. We're currently on just under 100 likes. Our partners over on Facebook are on 150 likes. It's the first time ever when we've done a dual stream that Facebook is in front. That Facebook is in front of YouTube on likes. YouTube, you're getting done this morning, and you're also getting done. You get done 3-1 when it comes to sharing of the video. So currently, right now, Facebook is on 29 shares. 29 people have shared this stream on their timelines, on their social media platforms. Can you catch them up at the very least? Get this stream out there. Encourage people to come along and watch and have their say as well. It means a lot to the Terrace to do that. Also, Terry has sources. Not at all, really. Like on the Arteta deal, we don't. We're just reiterating what's been said. On the Liverpool buying a big player this summer, I'll openly put my hands up and say that's the truth. We did have a conversation with the sports consultant who told us that. And we went live with it just a few short weeks ago. And it's true. It absolutely is. He'll get sacked start of next season. Watch. That's a really interesting point. I was talking to this with my pal yesterday, Zaguna. This is how badly run I think Arsenal are. This is how badly run they are. They'll keep him. They'll make a big song and dance about he's our guy. We're going to back him. We're going to buy him the players. They may even land 2 or 3 players that get the juices flowing amongst Arsenal fans. And if the season doesn't start off, at the B of the bang, they'll sack him by October. And it'll just be what wasted time. What wasted time it may end up being. It will. You can just get a sense. It'll just be done. It'll be out of there. It'll be over for him. It really, really will. It really, really will. Let's go to a few more of these comments that are coming through here. You were laughing at Neymar and Poch for not doing well in the Champions League, but why don't you talk about Ronaldo not making Champions League for Juve? Ronaldo to Juve has been a bigger failure than Neymar to PSG. Do you know what I mean? You make an interesting point there. The difference is Ronaldo is beyond his peak. He's still doing well, but he's beyond his peak. This is where you're wrong in this argument, and you're not looking at it in the right way. Neymar is in the pomp of his career, the peak age of his career. This is, it's pound for pound. It's sort of a bit like looking at Steven Gerrard's last 2 seasons and comparing it to Kante's best season. It doesn't make sense. You've got to do pound for pound. What was Ronaldo doing at Neymar's stage of his career? That's the point. Not when he's 36 years of age and in the twilight of his career. That's it. You're right. Terrible season for Juve, and lots of people, the club, the board, manager, they'll all need to be reprimanded and ridiculed in the same way. But your equivalence is a false equivalent. And I haven't had a go at Neymar. I'm simply stating that I don't think he's achieved. So Neymar hasn't achieved yet as a player what Ronaldo has. But people like you put him above Ronaldo, and I think that's wrong. And in relation to Poch, there's no defending this season, in my opinion. He's gone into a one-horse race with a superior squad. And unless something changes in the last 2 games, he's going to come second. He's going to come second in a beauty contest that he was the only one to enter. And that's not a good look. Legitimately is not a good look. When you go to a league where your team's got the vast majority, the best squad, billions of pounds spent on that squad, there is no excuse to not winning the league. There is just none. If you manage Bayern Munich, if you don't win the league with Bayern Munich, it's an embarrassment. In France, if you're not winning the league with PSG, it's an embarrassment. If you're in Scotland and you're not winning the league with either, if you're at Rangers now, they're back, but for a 10-year period, Rangers were gone, right? So if you were the Celtic manager and you didn't win the league title with Celtic, it was an embarrassment. It's when it's a one-horse race, there are no excuses. But yeah, your point around Ronaldo to Neymar is a false equivalence, because you're talking about 2 players at different stages of their careers. Speak about them both at the same time. Make it a fair playing field, and your argument dies on its backside, my friend. Dies on its backside. Guendouzi telling Camavinga not to go. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? MB here of a super chat says Arsenal are going to be destroyed on Wednesday. Keep going with our show, Terry. There we go. Yeah, my stream, your show. That's the way around. We'll keep it. We'll put it that way around. If Spurs get either Sarri, Allegri, or Conte, Arsenal are going to end up in deep mud. What do you think? That's a really good point, Ronnie. It's a very good point when it comes to Tottenham moving forward. They are in a mess right now, but the right managerial appointment and a couple of good signings in the summer, and they could turn that round. I still think Spurs have a much better squad than people make out. Like Ryan Mason's just out of his depth as caretaker manager. But we'll see. We will see. Let's do a few more of these comments that are coming through here. I love it. You're disrespecting the French league. I'm not disrespecting the French league. I'm not disrespecting it at all. But none of the clubs in that French league have squads with the depth and with the valuation as PSG. None of those clubs have the resource of PSG. PSG not winning the league is an embarrassment. It's an embarrassment. When you're in Spain, you've got 2 teams that are the favourites every year in Barcelona and Real Madrid. Then you've got a few teams behind them that are still rich and wealthy and got a rich history. In the Premier League, there's nearly always 2 or 3 teams each season that could conceivably win the league. In France, there isn't. There just isn't. In Germany, in my opinion, there isn't. There's such a monopoly for Bayern Munich. The whole structure appears to me from the outside looking in to be built to, let's just keep Bayern Munich at the top of the tree. It's almost like the other clubs feed into that notion. So I think, if Bayern Munich don't win the league, I find it to be an embarrassment for them. That's just my view. And it's not about disrespecting the leagues. It's about being honest. The league, by the way, the Bundesliga for me is a much stronger league from top to bottom than the French league. But in France, not at all. Most of the other French clubs, their model is built based on developing young players to sell them abroad to raise the capital to keep the clubs alive. That's their model. None of them have a business model that's designed to make them be the best team in Europe or even the best team for a prolonged period of time in their own country. So it's not about disrespecting the league. It's about being realistic, eye test. It's about being realistic. Ronaldo and Messi in a league of their own. If Ronaldo leaves the Champions League for the next 10 years, only Messi can beat him, no one else. There are levels. And that's also the point. Brian makes a great point there. Like what Cristiano Ronaldo has done in the Champions League in terms of what he's won, the amount of goals that he scored, you just can't compare any other player to him or Messi. You just can't do that. So again, like I said, I think the last word I'm having on Neymar today. Neymar, hugely talented player, top class, world class. But his name should never be uttered or muttered in the same breath as Ronaldo or Lionel Messi. And I don't believe he's achieved the status in the game of Zidane's, Thierry Henry's, Xavi's, Iniesta's. Just don't think he has. There's still too much. There's so much conjecture. There's so much challenge to it. It's not universal yet. But my hope is, before any of you Neymar stands get upset or you cry or anything, I hope he achieves it. Not winning your league campaign in a one-horse race doesn't help. Doesn't help you. I'm going to open up the lines now for you to come on and have your say. I'm going to share the link here on YouTube and on Facebook. Look at that. What are we on now? Facebook, 205 likes. YouTube, 160. YouTube, you're still getting done. Get that like button hit, but you've nearly caught up on shares, which is amazing. So keep doing that. I'm going to spam the link in now to the comment section for you to come on and have your say. Mikel Arteta to remain at Arsenal. He is not going to be sacked. The board have made that decision. That news comes from the likes of Dean Jones, from John Cross. Equally, from the Gooner Talk podcast and from 101 Goals, Tom Clayton. I need to say Tom Clayton. Is that his name? I do know his surname. Yeah, Clayton. They have stated that Arsenal are doing everything they can to try and bring Eduardo Camavinga to the club. So big news in relation to your manager. Big news in relation to Mikel Arteta. We want to hear from you right now. The link's been shared in the comment section. Need to hear from you. Want your thoughts. Want your opinions. Someone here says, is Neymar gone? Is Arteta gone? No. No one said that. There's nothing we've said that says he's been sacked. I don't know if you're reading the title wrong. A decision has been made, and they have decided to not sack him. That is what they have done. Make sure you're hitting that like and that share button. Let's jump into some of these calls now. Let's get some of these calls. Get a gal on. I'll share the link. Actually, have I shared the link in the group chat? I don't even know if I have, Hang on. Oh, no. Sorry. Just read a message. I made a mistake on something. Nothing major. Just work thing. Let me get this link. Igal's actually here now. Igal's backstage. I'm going to get Igal on to have his say right now with us all. Let's go into this right now. I love some of you guys. Terry is on Twitter. I wasn't on Twitter. And let's get Igal on to have his say. Morning, mate. How you doing?
Chilling, man. How you doing, Terry?
Yeah, I'm good, bro. I'm good. So reports this morning that the decision has been made over the future of Mikel Arteta, and he is going to stay next season. You're linked with some big name players in the summer. Give me your thoughts on that, mate.
Are we surprised? I'm not surprised. These are the same guys who've done this with their other franchises over there in America. The ownership has hired this man, and they with the plans to give him, regardless what our finish would be at the beginning of the season. They said even if we finish 10th and things got worse, they would still give him until next season. So I don't think they're going to change anything now. And that just shows that they're going to keep the same energy going into the season, regardless any fans pressure or anything else. And if it changes and they do sack him, the only reason why they would do that is if they're trying to get better relations with some of the fans that think the manager should go, which is majority of the fan base at this point.
Yeah, no, listen, I hear where you're coming from there, mate, in relation to this news. I think, as I said earlier, what I can imagine I see happening is you keeping him, you signing a few good players, the season's going to start off poorly, and then they sack him anyway.
It's going to be a vicious cycle, Terry. It's going to be a vicious cycle. At this point, I've come to the conclusion that if he does get sacked, it's probably going to be if we have a bad start next season. And the only way we're going to have a bad start next season is if we don't get the right business done in the summer. So it's just going to be a vicious cycle all over again. You know how before we used to say we loved the top four? Now it seems like we just love giving ourselves in more deeper problems.
And how do you feel about the links to certain players? Basuma, you're linked with today. Camavinga, you're linked with today. Are you in a mood to be excited about these kind of transfers, or are you just not in that headspace yet as an Arsenal fan?
Terry, these are actually not. You cover transfer news all the time. These names have come up before, but they always came up with the stipulation that if we get Champions League football.
Oh, I think you might have gone. Are you there? Hey, Gal.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
You're back now. You cut out. Start again, mate. Start.
My internet's acting up because I was just turning it on. But yeah, what we're not surprised, Terry. We've seen these stipulations that they put on the team before, where they said if you get Champions League football, if you get Europa League football, you can get these signings. Now they're saying even without it, we're still going to get signings. Why didn't you have the same energy last season? Right?
Yeah, no, listen, I hear you. I think for me, Arsenal need to make a splash. They need to make a statement. They legitimately need to make a statement in terms of making a signing that's going to create a big splash. They need to go out there. And we've had people talk about Jack Grealish. Jack Grealish, for me, isn't going to happen without Champions League football unless you were to pay exorbitant amounts of money. And the question is, do you think Arsenal are prepared to spend exorbitant amounts of money?
Terry, it's not about the money that you need to spend. It's the proper recruitment. It's the character analysis. It's actually going to the teams and finding out how these players train, how they work day in, day out, what their scope is in their own personal goals and ambitions to improve themselves as footballers. It's not just about signing the big name that everybody knows. Anyone can do that. Are you actually doing your due diligence behind closed doors? Because it doesn't seem like we're doing that. We're signing players with character issues. We're signing guys like Guendouzi, who already has issues with his managers at the age of 18. What do you think he's going to do when he gets a big head and he becomes a big-time baller at Arsenal? He's going to lose his head and he's going to try to leave. We need to actually sign players with the character and to improve and the work ethic to improve. That's the issue, not the actual signings themselves. It's the characters of the players that we're signing.
And listen, and I understand that. I think what you're saying there is as a process, as a club, that needs to improve. And I always remember this. I don't know whether the film was based on a true story, but have you ever seen the film Draft Day with Kevin Costner?
Yeah.
That for me is something that fans of a sports where there are transfers or trades that happen for players and personnel. It's a film worth watching and understanding as to why, the due diligence that was done. For anyone that hasn't seen it, there's it's the draft day, and the general manager of an NFL team has the first bid, and instead of bidding for this quarterback in the draft that everyone wants, he goes for a bit of a more obscure player, and nobody starts picking this quarterback, and blah 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 blah. And in the end, when he was like, "Why didn't you pick him?" It turns out that he said there was a report filed. He was arrested on his 21st birthday, and people are like, "Well, that isn't uncommon. Why would you not sign him for that?" He says, "No, I read the report, and it had the names of everyone that was arrested, and not one of his college teammates was at his birthday party." And that tells me there's something about his character that isn't great in a dressing room. And it kind of resonated with me. It was a film, but that concept of what due diligence is the club's doing. How does how does player A behave when the going's going when they're playing well? How does he behave when the pressure's on? How does he behave after defeats? How does he behave in conflicts? How does he behave with media pressure? These things need to be done. But when you've got that in place, mate, do you think Arsenal were going to be prepared to spend the money to get transfers done? You know, the Awar deal. You could have got Awar last summer if you were prepared to pay an extra £10 million, but you walked away from it. Do you think the Kroenkes are going to change their way and land the quality of stars needed? You know, you need better than El Neni. You need better than Holding. You need better than Lacazette. You need better than these kind of better than Xhaka. You know, better than Bellerin. Do you think your club is going to be prepared to spend the money and give the salaries that are needed? I think that Wi-Fi is bugging. I think the Wi-Fi is definitely bugging. He fell out there. We're going to go to Josh next. Josh is an Arsenal fan. I want to know what Josh thinks. How you doing, bro?
I'm well, man. Sorry, how are you doing? How are you doing?
Yeah,
You good?
I'm good. I'm good. What did you want to say, mate?
First of all, I actually want to say that I'm not happy with Arsenal because we could have done what we did against West Brom against Villarreal, but we decided to be too pragmatic. We literally decided just to play a 4-1-4-1, and we lost. So honestly, I'm not too bothered about the results today. Great goal by Pepe, great goal by Smith Rowe, great goal by William. But where was all of this on Thursday? Where was it? It was nowhere. And I only think of these games now as preseason games. I just think of them as preseason games because the season's done. We're ninth, which is an embarrassment. And I have to say, I'm very embarrassed to be an Arsenal fan. Like, it's just ridiculous. Like, God knows what's gonna happen next season. I don't know. Arsenal might get relegated next season. For God's sake, man, this team is just absolute. It's just embarrassing.
Do you?
I, don't,
I do get that. I mean, why do you think? What was it that stopped your team from performing Thursday but enabled them to perform yesterday?
That's a very, very good question. Honestly, I don't even know. I don't even know at all. I don't even know. I don't even know. But guess what? We've got Chelsea next on Wednesday. Shit. Oh God.
How are you feeling ahead of the game against Chelsea? Do you have any hope of beating them in your head, in your mind?
Either we're gonna get battered, which is the most likely thing that's gonna happen, or gonna legit is part of the Boston go for a draw. I mean, I don't know. But the thing is, we've beaten them before, so we can beat them again. But I don't know, man.
your,
I
your,
don't
answer,
even know, man. This team is
your
just...
answer tells me everything I need to know.
Oh, I don't know, man.
Thank you, Josh, for coming on, my guy. I really
Cheers,
appreciate
man.
it.
Cheers, man.
Thank you. You can hear that. What he's saying, he doesn't want to say it, but there's no hope. Arsenal fans have no hope, and Tuchel's team is just playing too well. It really, really is. Next on the show, Brian's with us. Brian's an Arsenal fan. What do you want to say, mate?
All right. It's good to be back, Terry, on the show. Well, Arsenal has been seriously disappointing. I think I was on the show sometime last week and I spoke about the Kroenkes and actually, the issue having to do with the Europa League. Arsenal feels like a relationship. You understand? There's this saying that, if you're a lady, you're looking for a guy, the best thing is to date an Arsenal fan because we go through a lot. The club feels like a lady that has constant mood swings. You understand? Because if you look at the way we played on Thursday, we were so slow. There was no intensity compared to the way we played at some points in the first half against West Brom.
Yeah.
But in general, the game was boring, to be honest. Like growing up, the kind of Arsenal teams I saw growing up, I was actually at some point more interested in Chelsea around 2004. I wasn't really an Arsenal supporter. I was just getting to observe football then. But I fell in love with Fabregas. We had players that kind of control the pace of the game and increase the intensity and reduced it. Now we don't have such players anymore. And that's why our midfield is so slow. Sometimes you see us attacking and the wingers tend to just stand and watch. There are no runners anymore. Then we had Fabregas, we had Wilshere, we had Nasri. That was around 2008 forward. And even though we were not winning trophies, we played the very best football. And that's what we are losing right now. We are losing that current midfield intensity, that player to actually grab the game by the neck and move the midfield forward. And I don't know, you mentioned Camavinga, right? We need a partner for party. It's true, it's good. But we still lack. Odegaard at some point against West Ham acted like that. But we still lack that player to actually raise the game, like a Bruno Fernandes, for example. He always has that ability to pick up the game and just change the pace. I watched you guys' games. I think it was against Burnley. There was a goal you scored. Van de Beek gave the assist, and the counter attack was so sweet to watch. And I told my friends, I actually don't mind a coach like Ole at Arsenal, even though Ole has his outers and his ins. This way he plays, and I'm not bashing Arteta. Arteta is a good coach. He showed at some point last season when we played against Liverpool in the run in the FA Cup, he actually has potential. But the problem, like yesterday, how can you play with Arteta? I mean, with Elneny and Ceballos in midfield? We tried that against Everton earlier in the season. We lost. We were fortunate that West Brom, I don't know, their heads were down yesterday. It's too weak. It's not the type of midfield that will make you even you guys in the UK to go and pay such top dollar to or top pounds to watch. It's not really nice on the eyes. But I feel like the Kroenkes will spend. They will spend. I don't know if we can attract Camavinga, but they will spend because of everything that's been going on.
Interesting points there, Brian. Listen, I really appreciate that call, buddy. I really do. How do you feel you're going to get on against, just quickly before you go, how do you feel like you're going to get on against
Chelsea? Oh, honestly, when Arteta is under pressure, he tends to make some amateur mistakes. And that's what he did against Villarreal. When there's no pressure, he tends to do very well. So I think he might overthink it. And his major problem is personnel selection. I think that's what actually falls his hand. He's actually a good tactician, as you know, contrary to what people say. But the problem now is going against a master tactician in Thomas Tuchel. But what I would say to Chelsea fans, they need to calm down. I wanted to mention this point when Chelsea won against Man City. Tuchel did very well at PSG. He broke records. There were records he broke. But there was a point when he dropped. His levels dropped. Teams found him out at some point. He later picked it up again. So even though he's making rave reviews right now, there should still be an element of just calm down a bit. Wait until next season because there's going to be a dip. It's going to come. Teams will find him out. But about our game on Wednesday, I see an L coming. An L coming, a big L. Especially with the kind of midfield we have and going up against Kante. If Kante plays, I don't see our midfield standing out at the midfield structure of Chelsea. They're quite good.
There we go. Brian, listen, great call, mate. Thank you for coming on and having your say. Top man. He thinks that Tuchel is going to be found out at some point. I know there's Chelsea fans tuning in. We have a lot of Chelsea fans that either watch live or watch playbacks of the Terrace. Do you agree? Some will, some won't. We've got KJ that's coming on very, very soon. Before that, man like Mr. Anthony is here. What you saying, buddy?
Hey, Terry. Sorry, I got a bit gassed up after the Real Madrid game. I was riding on high.
Right, not
It
a
was
problem,
pretty good.
not a problem at all. Arsenal have decided to keep Mikel Arteta. Give me your thoughts on that.
Oh, good for us. London will remain blue. So.
No, I hear you on that completely. How are you feeling about playing them on Wednesday night? Any nerves at all?
Something I was just thinking about it earlier the other day. Arteta might pull it out because he's just that type of person. Because they don't have any pressure on them or anything like that. They might win. So I just want to give some hope to the Arsenal fans. Yep, you guys might win, and we might get found out as the earlier caller said. So no problem at all. So as we said, Arteta is a good tactician. So he will out tactic Thomas Tuchel. I do have a point to make on the Camavinga thing you were mentioning earlier. I was thinking about this whole thing, and I'll go back to what you said to Sunny about when you were having conversations with players, right? You said, I think players think about how the manager would treat them, how the system would treat them, and where the team would take them, and so many points like that. I just would like to think if Camavinga is going to come to Arsenal for one thing he doesn't have Champions League or Europa League football for next season. What has Arteta done to prove that he can take him to that next level? What has what sort of team is Arsenal built around to achieve that sort of thing? Because he's going to be a person who wants to achieve things with this team. And what has Arsenal been doing all this time to show him that they're in a position to achieve as well? So, in my opinion,
yeah, you make a great point there, and I think that's something that all these players are being linked with. Arsenal have got to show, if they want to bring in people with the right attitudes, they have to show these players that it's the right place for them to be. Listen, great call as ever, mate. Thank you for all your support on the channel, mate. Really appreciate that a lot. Everyone who's tuning in, keep hitting that like button, hit that share button, subscribe to the Football Terrace, and turn on the bell notifications as well. Very, very important to us that you get that done. Chris says, will Fabrizio Romano be coming on the Terrace this summer? Maybe. Watch this space. Hopefully in the next week to week and a half, some of the new show formats will start to filter through in terms of how we're developing them and how we're making them. One of the reasons for the slow delay is with the job that I was doing, I had to give 6 months notice on my job, which I gave 4.5 months ago. So I've got another month and a half of like doing 2 jobs. Once that's done and out the way, a lot more of the new content will be done, more time for planning, getting guests on, bolstering the shows out a lot more. So watch this space. And by the end of this week, we'll be launching the new member perks. The new member perks, what you're going to get, launching all the new sort of benefits around that. And we're going to be adding lots of new things in for members as well. So we've got lots of plans coming forward. So Chris, yeah, thanks for prompting that in my mind. Let's get KJ on now to have his say. Morning, mate. How are you?
Yo. I'm good, thank you.
Good show last night. Midnight Vibes. I watched for a little while before going to sleep.
Thank you. We discovered that me and you might be dyslexic brothers. You know what I'm saying, fam? My reading age is terrible, bruv.
Mate, do you know what's mad? I didn't know that I was dyslexic until I was 23, 24, and it got discovered at work. Essentially, someone said that I might be. And do you know what the weirdest thing was? I'd always struggle with reading it. It was because I bump into things quite a lot. And I didn't realize that's also a symptom. Coordination. I was like, wow, that's mad. Didn't know.
I need to get checked out. I
would like to walking into the side of desks and stuff, just weird stuff like that. It's
I actually genuinely need to get checked out then.
Yeah, and there's different forms of it. Some people more mild than others, but yeah, it was an amazing thing to learn. Yeah, what's your thoughts this morning? Major reports from Dean Jones, John Cross, that they Arsenal essentially thought about the future of Arteta. They thought about maybe sacking him, but their decision is that he stays, that he's going to remain at Arsenal Football Club. What's your views on that? Is that the right or wrong decision?
I say for now, just keep him to the end of the season. There's no point of sacking him now. There's like 3 games left for Arsenal. So yeah, I'd say do that. And then in the summer, I would let him go because the job's too big for him. The job's too big for him. And that's no fault of his own. He didn't force Arsenal to hire him. They asked him to come and he came. So yeah, I personally think that they should literally just let go of him at the end of the summer, bring in someone a bit more experienced, someone who's used to building squads, working with lower budgets and creating stars out of just potential. Yeah. And go from there, because right now, Arsenal, in my view, are not in the position to be signing the big names and the big stars. And I've even Camavinga, sorry, he I think he's a tier a bit too high for them. He's someone who's got Champions League experience, who's going to want to be playing in Europe. He's got a big name, and for a guy with a year left on his contract, it sounds like he'd be costing what, 40 M's? That's a massive risk to take on a teenager. I know we've done it with Matt Diallo, but we're in a better place as a club to do that. You know what I mean?
Well,
We're in a,
there is that element, but also Ahmad's here to learn and develop. He's barely been used. We haven't used Greenwood as much as on the surface we would like to see him be used. Like this Camavinga deal, what will worry me is it sounds like they're going to sign him and he's their new hope again. And we had Jess on the show last night and Shocks. Great. It was a great show. But they spoke about how Arsenal need 25, 26, 27-year-old established stars to take them forward. All these kids are just going to lead to more of the same problems, the inconsistencies. So I do look, it would be a great signing in isolation, but in the grand scheme of things, is it going to overtly improve Arsenal? I don't know.
It's not a good move. Like you can't. Their best players are Smith Rowe, Saka, Tierney, and Martinelli. They're all under 23 years old. Half of them are teenagers. It's not good. What United's problem for years and years and years before the last 2 seasons, or no, actually before this season, was we didn't have men of age who could carry a team. We didn't have that experience. It was just bare youths with a couple of old men. Now we've got more experience in the team, more people who are of a decent age. It's very mad how Arsenal potentially think that's acceptable. We've seen it already with Paul Pogba. Bring him in. He was 23 when he bought in. He was supposed to be a new light. Look what's happened to him over the years. Anything that goes wrong with Man United is his fault. What do you think is going to happen with Camavinga? If anything goes wrong, it's Camavinga's fault because he is supposed to be the savior, supposed to be the messiah. It's unfair. He's only, 18, 19? Like, it's unfair. I mean, Arsenal is not the place for him to develop. It's not, in my opinion. They need more experienced players, willing and hungry to play in the game. Yes, add some young quality here and there, but that young quality should be Premier League or English League experience, in my opinion.
100, mate.
Ndidi and Cantwell are better signings than Camavinga.
Just could not agree with you more on that. We're going to add a man like Neeks to the stream as well. This Neeks, morning, mate. How are you?
I'm all right, not too bad. What are we talking about? Camavinga. What are we talking about?
Essentially, the news this morning is, some fairly credible sources that Arteta will not be sacked at all. They're going to keep him for next season. They considered it, they looked at it, they reviewed it, and they decided that they want to keep him. No rationale as to why, but they're keeping him. Secondly, today there's big reports that Arsenal are going to go all out to try and sign Camavinga. I wanted your thoughts on Arteta staying. Good or bad decision, and equally, players of the profile, age, and whatnot of Camavinga. Is that the right people for Arsenal Football Club to be approaching and trying to sign, in your view?
You know, I caught the end of KJ's in terms of Camavinga. It's a tough one because I do get that Arsenal do need experienced players, but I'd argue they've got experienced players. Like, Xhaka's 28, Aubameyang's touching 30, Lacazette's touching 30, Pepe's 25, Willian's 30 plus. They've got experienced players, even if we just talk about in the midfield to forward line. I think defensively, I mean, obviously it's David Luiz. I guess the big question is, are those experienced players good enough? You would argue that this season and especially last season also shows that they're not good enough. Of course, some of that has to go down to the manager, which I'll touch on in a second. But I think who are these experienced players that Arsenal need or can get in that's going to elevate them? Because if you're talking about quality players in their prime, 25, 26, 27, 28, that's a lot of money for a team that's not going to be playing in Europe next year and probably not going to be playing Champions League for at least another 2 years. So how do you get back into a position to win to get into the Champions League? You might have to buy the young players and hope that they can supplement the experienced heads that you have, buy quality young players to supplement the experienced heads that you have to progress up the table. Because as we've seen this season, the better players for Arsenal or the more promising ones have been the younger players. So I don't know. It's a who do you get? Because we spoke about Grealish, but we also say Grealish wouldn't want to go to Arsenal.
No, listen, I couldn't agree. I couldn't agree more. I think you're absolutely spot on. in relation to that. Monstar's now joining us as well this morning. How you doing, mate?
I'm doing good. How are you all doing?
Yeah, man. Good, man.
Can't complain. First, before we go on to Arsenal's sort of situation, you licking your lips at the prospect of playing them on Wednesday.
I've been waiting for this day all year. I mean, they really broke my heart. They after they beat us 3-1, it was a bad day. You know, after we lost, I had to go and take a cold shower, and I was like just sitting in the corner of the shower, and then after I had to get spooned by my girl all night. You know, it was tough. It was tough. But then, you know what happened with Frank Lampard happened. Tommy T came in, elevated us to now being the best team in Europe. Because I don't want to hear anyone say otherwise. No. I don't care who you put in front of me. Any team in Europe you put in front of me, my boys will take them down. You could bring Bayern. We've already beat Real, Atletico, who are champions elect in Spain. You can bring. They brought Porto. You could bring Juve. They're rubbish. You can bring Inter, AC. It doesn't matter. PSG, you could bring them too. The same way Man City locked down Neymar and Mbappe, my boys would do even better. They won't even score. Do you know what I mean? We'll take clean sheets off them. My team is the best team in Europe. I'm sorry. You know,
let me say this, Monstar. Monstar, let me say this. I'm not saying new manager bounce because I think that's unfair to Tuchel and the players.
What?
Listen. I said, I'm not saying new manager bounce. We know that the Chelsea squad is quality. At the beginning of the season, we predicted them to be in a title race. But you don't be the best team in Europe. And I don't mean, obviously, you can win the Champions League, but you don't be the best team in Europe based on 3 months of form. Like, that's literally what you got. You judge it over the course of a season. And we haven't seen this Chelsea side under Tuchel over the course of a season. So
have you ever heard of something called Lampard tax?
Listen.
Have you ever heard of something called Lampard tax? Listen, people are trying to make it out that Chelsea were they're overachieving with Thomas Tuchel. No, we were not overachieving with Thomas Tuchel. We were underachieving with Frank Lampard. I said what I was saying earlier on in the season on the football terrace when I was saying we were going to win the league and blah, blah. I said that because I meant it. Do you know what I mean? Because I knew how good this Chelsea team is. You don't have all this talent for you to go to 9th. And remember, we were in 9th place and fighting with Arsenal. Arsenal fans actually fought. Yeah, they actually fought. They could finish above Chelsea. Like, bro, I don't get it. I don't get it.
Do you know what I love about it as well, though? I heard people yesterday defending Poch in terms of him maybe not winning League 1, the Uber Eats League. And do you know what the phrase they used? They said, yeah, but you're forgetting about Tuchel tax. And I was like, wow. Like,
man said, Tuchel tax, that's a rebate. That's a rebate.
I know that's my fault. It's crazy. Listen, I understand where Monstar's coming from. This Chelsea team, I've been impressed with Thomas Tuchel, but the squad is actually amazing. And I think I actually think it's a different degree. Tottenham's squad keeps getting spoken about as if it's dead food. Now, it's nowhere near as good as City's or Chelsea's or anyone like that, but it ain't as bad as people are making out as well. It's people kind of defending Jose a little bit as far as I'm concerned. When you've got a bad manager at your club for whatever reason, like, it takes away from so many people. Like, the performance levels we've seen from some of these Chelsea players has been exemplary, and top coaches can get that out of you. There's no doubt about it. In terms of Monstar, in terms of Arteta staying, do you think that's the right or wrong move for Arsenal?
That's a terrible move. I can't believe Arteta still hasn't been sacked. Like, listen, I get it. I get that there's a lot of like issues surrounding the Kroenkes and things like that, but your squad is still not a 10th or 11th or even 9th place squad. Your squad's much better than this. What's happened to Thomas Partey? I have no idea. And that one boggles me. Like, I don't understand that. What they did in the what do you call it? The Europa League was absolutely atrocious. If you ask me, they couldn't score one goal, and on top of that, they went and scored 3 against West Brom.
Yeah, and it was mad, yeah, Monstar. On top of that as well, Villarreal lost 4-2 on the weekend.
But you know what that tells me? that tells me under pressure, those players they fold. That's all it tells me. Under pressure, they fold, as well as Arteta's decision making within the game, taking off Aubameyang when they needed to go most. They took off their biggest threat. That just tells me the caliber of manager he is, and I don't think he's a good manager. I think Arsenal should have sacked him a long time ago, and that's the difference between a big club like Chelsea and a mid-table club like Arsenal. When you're starting to see how bad the manager is, you take action straight away. Frank Lampard, great, you are a legend, you're a great player, I love you. But when you got to 9th place, Chelsea said, no, we can't have this, it's time to go. With Arteta's still there. You know, DT came on there and said Lampard took Derby from, what was it, 3rd to 6th or something like that, and took Chelsea's from 3rd to 4th. Arteta's taken them from 5th to 8th.
And do you know what's even more damning about that? Do you know what's even more damning about that, bruv? Is Lampard's problem wasn't really his tactics per se. It was how he managed people. It was his people skills, which you can work on that because you can change how you treat people. Everyone loves Arteta. Arteta's where he is because he doesn't know what he's doing from a managerial point of view, and he's out of his depth. He's drowning. So I think the problem that he has is so much worse. And when you get, listen, I respect Gal, I respect DT, like, you know, their football opinions. These are like the biggest staunched Arteta inners around. They're not become Arteta out, but they're just like, Arteta, I don't really care what happens anymore. And they've seen it. And that last little thing, the falling out of the Europa League the way they did, was the final straw. We're going to add Tom. Tom,
Terry, can I just say before I go quickly?
Go on, man.
I think that the issue in terms of sacking Arteta is the owners and the board are under so much pressure, both at Man United and both at Arsenal. Now, I obviously, you know, I'm not advocating to sack Solskjaer. I don't think he deserves to be sacked. But those people in charge of that decision have blood on their hands if they have to sack if those managers don't work out. Because sacking Wenger, then sacking Emery, then sacking Arteta, it's like you don't have a clue what you're doing. Whereas when Roman sacks a manager, the history suggests, well, the next one we're going to get is going to be successful. So Chelsea fans, of course, you're going to get the odd ones. They're like, oh, Lampard's our legend. How can you do it? But they all know that it was the right decision and it's going to be fruitful, because if the next manager's answer, if Tuchel came in and failed this season, he'll be gone in the summer and you'll get someone else in. So you Chelsea fans know that sacking the manager is going to be successful in the long run for Chelsea. Whereas the Man United boards and the Arsenal boards and any other boards that are under pressure in terms of managers, from fans, they're very wary about the next decision they make, because if it's a wrong decision, you're going to get under more pressure. Roman's not under no pressure. If Tuchel fails, I'll get him out, get someone else in. It don't make a difference for them. I think they're going to stick with him because to save their own face and hope that it works out.
Well, there is that as well. It didn't really get picked up on earlier on in the show, but I get this sense as well that I think he'll be gone by October. But what they can do to protect themselves as owners is buy 2 or 3 players that get the juices flowing, give all this PR spill that they're standing by Mikel Arteta, and then move him on anyway, but scapegoat him. And I don't want to be disrespectful to people that are like doing these protests or lack thereof yesterday, but 80% of Arsenal fans are going to fall for the PR spin again. They will fall for it. They will buy into it, and it will all be on the manager. The manager goes, and they think, right, clean slate, but the same problems are going on at the football club. Tom's here with us now. Tom, what's your thoughts on Arteta staying and the links to players like Basuma and Camavinga?
I mean, Arteta staying, it's the worst thing he could do. It's the worst thing Arsenal do. So it's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen. While the Cronkies are still there, the 2 invested in this Arteta master plan that he's got. Basuma, I could probably see it happening if we don't go in for him. But Camavinga, I don't see happening.
No way. No way.
Real Madrid will swoop in with enough for him, or Bayern will swoop in. Because if their only competition's Arsenal, believe they'll have more of a chance.
All the big clubs in Europe are in for this kid. I don't know what happened to my focus there. All the big clubs in Europe are in for Camavinga. But just to quickly say, Terry, I thought we were covering top 6 teams. Like Liverpool's purple patch is over. The purple patch is over.
We'll see you in 30 years. We're getting top 4 this year.
We'll see you in 30 years.
We've
We've got no
30
senior
years.
centre backs, and we're getting top 4. You know,
I'm gonna have to change it. I'm gonna have to change it to top 6+2 now, so we can keep covering Arsenal and covering Liverpool. Liverpool, yeah, it's true. It's true. But yeah, no, I hear what you're saying. I actually can't imagine. Legitimately can't imagine Arsenal getting Camavinga if any other big team is in for him. I would question him if he chose Arsenal over Real Madrid or Man United or whoever, because it's actually stupid from him as well. He isn't ready, in my opinion, to go into the middle of the park for a Premier League team. Maybe I'm wrong. I mean, Jude Bellingham's gone and done it in Germany, but Dortmund are a pretty good team. I just can't imagine him coming into the Prem, going alongside Partey in a Mikel Arteta system and being good. I just smell Renato Sanchez. I just feel like it could be too much too soon for him at Arsenal. And Renato Sanchez fouled at a well-run club. I don't know, if I was advising him, I'd be telling him to stay clear of Arsenal Football
That's
Club.
the thing as well, though, isn't it? Like, Partey isn't exactly established in the Premier League yet either. He's had his struggles, and he's older. He's more experienced. Camavinga could well come in and adapt straight away, but Arsenal's struggles have been in midfield this season, and they could be going, if they get Camavinga, they could be going into next season with 2 midfielders who've got all the ability but no confidence, and confidence is the most important thing.
Yeah, mate, I couldn't agree with you more. Let's see a few of these comments that are coming through here. Bellingham would not be as good in the Premier League as he is in the Bundesliga either, in my opinion. They get way more time on the ball, and look, that could be part of it and whatnot. But the thing is, it's about expectations as well. I don't think Dortmund fans have the same expectations that Arsenal fans do, rightly or wrongly. Arsenal fans, I still think as well, right? Gooners. We'll see what happens. I'll be tuning in to certain people's previews of the season. If you did sign Camavinga, and you just to say you signed Mbasuma and you got a decent striker, I can imagine the top 4 talk coming out again. I can just imagine it. I expect them to get.
They'll be on about dark horses for the title, eh?
Yeah, they will. And if they start the season well, but that's why they did it last year. The way they beat Liverpool at the end of the season, and then City and Chelsea in the FA Cup, those 3 results created the monster that was this season for them. It created the height for them to fall from. It's what created the impact when they came down to earth, because they were on cloud 9 and they got pushed off very quickly. And I shouldn't laugh, but it's fucking brilliant. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. I loved it. And I said it would happen because we could all see that it was legitimately, the word sustainable gets used a lot in football conversations in recent times, but legit, the way Arsenal performed at the end of last season wasn't sustainable. They beat Liverpool 2-1 and they had 1 shot on goal. How can you build from that? That's just luck. Do you know what I mean?
Remember Willian score getting, what was it, 2 hat-tricks, and they were just raving on and on and on
about
about
the assist.
Yeah, 2 assists against Fulham, and it was he's better than any of Chelsea's signings. Arsenal are back.
You remember when they scored the goal against Fulham, when they played it out from the back, and then they played it alongside an older video, a Thierry Henry goal where it was played out from the back, and they were like, "These days are coming." It was like you played out once in the back and scored a goal, and you were acting. Honestly, and I'm not. Most Arsenal fans are not like that. They're not like that. Actually, I don't know. Maybe they are. Some are. Yeah, I'm bullshitting there.
It's probably a vocal minority, but the vocal minority are very vocal. Very often.
No, it's not a minority, man. Majority of Arsenal fans are. Listen, I grew up in Hoxton, so it's near Highbury. When Arsenal were at Highbury, Arsenal fans are very, very loud. When they were winning the title, they were the most unbearable club you can ever find. Do you know what I mean? So it's just how they are. It's how they are. No wonder AFTV is so big, because the whole of England want to see them lose.
But then equally, it works in reverse. So this is where AFTV is a beautiful model. When they lose, of course, we know that will happen. Rivals turn up to laugh and whatnot. When they win and do well, the Arsenal fans come out to overly celebrate, and we're back on top. So it's like what Robbie's created is just the most perfect, beautiful balance of when we're winning, Arsenal fans are with us, and when we're losing, the rivals come along. And I know some Arsenal fans get annoyed about that. I'm like, fair play. That's why I respect Robbie a lot. I don't even know if it's been by design I think it's more like it happened and then he's grown from it. But so what? That's what it's there for at the end of the day. But that's football banter for you. That's just no different to your friend group. But this is just in front of 1.34 million people each week. Do you know what I mean? It just creates a bigger splash. We've got the Arsenal realist with us here now. What do you want to say, bro? Arteta stays. Give us your opinion.
Shocking. Those are my first words. I think Arteta staying just shows where the club is right now. You're keeping the manager that's going to go further and further down. You're not going to develop him. What's the point? On Camavinga, no, I don't see him coming. Even if he does come, I'm charging his agents for fraud. He's coming to ruin his career. That's what he's doing. Under young players at Arsenal, Arteta's ruined them. Saliba, Guendouzi. You could put Torreira in that bracket if you could, but he's ruined them. I think Saka, you could give him some credit, but he's come under Emery. Smith Rowe the same. I think he brung Smith Rowe in because what do you call it? He needed them basically. He didn't have a number 10 and he needed number 10 and he just brung him in. On Arsenal fans, I could legit see us winning. I could see us beating Chelsea. Arsenal fans getting gassed, and then same thing happening all over again.
You can see
that's what I can see happening. That's what I see happening.
Listen, this ain't a comedy show, bro. Like, stop it, man. Stop it.
Listen to what I said. I said
he genuinely believes it. He's saying
no. I don't believe it. I think we'll get pammed on Wednesday. That's what I believe. But I see certain Arsenal fans truly believing we can beat Chelsea, and if that's a big if we do, Arsenal fans will be on cloud 9, getting gassed. All this top 4 talk will come again, and we'll never learn.
I don't even want to imagine if you beat Chelsea.
And I completely agree with that in terms of the gas levels will be there. See, we can do it. We can.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Oh, yeah. I can just see it now. I can. Actually, I want it to happen now. I want it to happen.
No,
just for that. Like that for me is a spectacle. Would be amazing. Latimus is with us now. What are you saying, Prime?
I think what's happening with Arsenal right now is
what are you doing? Right.
I think what's happening at the Arsenal Football Club is quite beautiful to see. No, it is, because when I was speaking about this earlier in the season, and I was getting laughed at from Arsenal fans and abused, and no one was trying to listen to me. But like a week or two before we played, and when I said that it's going to be quite predictable what's going to happen, you'll probably get a result from us, and you'll go on a run of form, and then you go on a run of good games, run of form, and you get gassed again. Then we'll be here a few months later, and you guys will all be crying about your club and moaning and complaining, and we're going to do the same thing over and over again. What's the name? Realist? What you said is, I mean, I don't see you guys beating us, but if you guys even get a result like a draw, yeah, Arsenal fans will get gassed. People like, I love Igal, but people like Igal will get gassed. And in the summer, people rate Camavinga, so you'll probably sign a Camavinga or something like that, and that will take pressure from the board, and there'll be less and less people protesting, as you saw from the last protest when barely anyone was there. And Arteta's going to get sacked, and then it's just going to be a constant cycle. Yeah, because it's not that hard. Again, it's not that hard to predict things. You've got to judge your history to determine your future. It's not that hard to predict things.
I love it.
To be fair, Prime, when you think of every solution in the world and every outcome in the world, and then also say every outcome, of course you're gonna get something right at some point. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think these 3,000. I think these could be the 3,000 results. I think Arsenal could finish 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th this season. Where they come?
But I haven't said any of those predictions. I mean, like to be fair, like where they are in the table is actually disgraceful. They should, because I predicted them 7th, because you've got like the 7th best squad in the league. You shouldn't be where you are. So as much as you can, your board and all of that is a problem, and you should focus on your board. Arteta doesn't help things. Why is Aubameyang not firing this season? He's supposed to be one of the best goal scorers in the world. You can get something out of Pepe. Saka is meant to be this bright talent who's better than the likes of Foden and Greenwood and all of them. Why is he being average this season? You've got about 9 seconds.
Hang on a minute.
And you don't know how to defend.
Sorry, let's go back to that. You think Saka's been average?
I think so, yeah. I think first half of the season, I think he was average. He kicked on in the latter part of the season, but then he's faded away. I do rate Saka highly, but I don't think he's been phenomenal this season. No,
he's been decent. He's been decent.
Yeah, he's been decent. I think he's been good. That's it. Yeah.
What's the difference between good, decent, and average? It's all you all live in the same wheelhouse.
I think.
But you got to consider. Wait. You got to consider his age as well. Like, how old is Saka? 19.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. He's a kid. I know he's a kid, and with youngsters, that drop off is expected. I agree with that. However, when you're having kids carry your team, this is what you're going to get. You're going to get great patches of form, and then you're going to get drop-offs, especially when there's no leaders in that team to help guide them and step up. When you have a young team or you're trying to rely on young players, that's when you need an experienced manager or a coach, someone who knows what they're doing, someone who can help guide them and nurture them. Arsenal don't have that.
On the Saka thing, I think he's been good this season. It's the environment. If you put Saka in that Chelsea squad, if you put him in Man City squad, Man United, you'd see a different player. The pressure's on him. If Saka doesn't play, you see the disappointment in Arsenal fans. There's no one else outside of him. The fact that a 19-year-old has been better this season than Aubameyang, Lacazette, and Pepe and William combined, it's an embarrassment to Arsenal Football Club. Yeah. And I'm sorry for Saka. And if in 12 to 18 months, if they haven't started to improve, that kid's going to be gone. He needs to get himself as far away from that toxic club as he can. We have a super chat here that says it's the history of the Arsenal Pep's son getting done. Tactics from Pep tomorrow night is what Malik says. I
could just imagine Guardiola ringing up Arteta. Look, lad, I've got this new tactic that I want to run the Champions League final. I need to run it by you first. Do you reckon Willian can play like Sterling for me? Do you reckon he can manage that? Do you reckon Aubameyang can do that Aguero thing that he does and Panenka at the keeper? I might get the tactic then.
Who does Klopp ring, bro?
On a real note, how much work does this Arsenal squad need? Because they need a new goalkeeper. I don't care. Anyone says Leno is not it. They need a new centre to the back pairing. They need a new right back.
Not a pairing. Bro. They need one centre back.
Basically, we need a.
What you think Gabriel's it?
You got to remember, sometimes it just takes one centre back to form an amazing partnership. Like, you've seen this down the years. It takes one centre back.
Okay. You know what I mean?
What about Saliba?
They need a right back. They need a actual CDM to partner with Partey. They need a number 10 that's not 12 years old. They need a
backup left back too.
Yeah, backup left back. They need a left winger, backup right winger, and they need another striker.
We need half a squad. That's what we need.
And a new manager.
Hang on. You just said we need half a squad. That's all we need. A squad's 23 people, bro. That's a lot. Of half a dozen people. That's
what we need. I'm being honest.
That's all we need.
Right. And you're right. You need about 12, 13 new players. But with the fact that clubs averagely sign like 4, maybe 5 a summer, that's 2 years. That's 2.5 years it's going to take to get to that point you need, which is why Arsenal fans have got to temper their expectations. Honestly, no matter who you sign, if I see an Arsenal fan predict a finish above 6th position in the summer, you're deluding yourself. You are light years. As I've said already, like Spurs have got holes in their squad, but it's better than yours. Everton's squad is better than yours. Look at all the teams. Actually, look at the Prem this morning. Look at all the teams that are above you. Everton, Tottenham, of course, Liverpool, Man United, Chelsea, Man City. All these teams have got better squads than Arsenal. They're all going to improve this summer. So not only do you need better 12, 13 players, you've also got to cater in the fact that all the teams above you, Leicester, better squad than you, they're all going to buy more players. They're all going to improve their squads. It's going to take you years to catch up. It's years away. And that's the biggest problem. None of you got the patience to last, to stand by it. You'll sign Camavinga, you'll sign, I don't know, some random, you'll get a good striker in and suddenly it's, we're back. And that's just the worst part. That's the bit that I love the most because then it all comes crumbling down. It is beautiful. It really, really is. Listen, Arsenal Realist, thanks for coming on and having your say, mate. Top man indeed. Let's do some of these comments here. What are people saying here? Spurs squad isn't better than ours.
From the league table, it is. So,
well, the way I look at it is their goalkeeper is better than yours. I think defensively, it's about 50-50. It's equal for me. Midfield wise, Ndombele walks into your team. Højbjerg walks into your team. Kane and Son walk into your team. Like
straight.
Harry Winks is better than El Neni. Like, I'm not saying he's great, but he's better than, like, I'm not saying their great squad is brilliant, but it is better than yours. Like, I think the right manager can get something out of Bergwijn, out of Lucas Moura. These are good quality players. They just had a trash, like, not a like, okay, let me rephrase Jose's thing. Jose just doesn't know how to manage people anymore. Like, in terms of his tactics are what they are. Spurs' squad is better than Arsenal's, in my opinion. I don't care what any Arsenal fan has to say in relation to that. We've got one final caller here, True Red. I know True Red's a Man United fan. What do you want to say?
I just want to enjoy Arsenal losing, man. I love it. Absolutely love it. Because, like you always say, they set themselves up for this. And, you know, Arsenal always pride themselves in this beautiful football, and yet they let Arsene Wenger go. And then they still want to stick to the Arsene Wenger kind of football. Honestly, they just confuse themselves. They don't know what they want. Because in reality, Terry, if these guys wanted to move on, they shouldn't have sacked Unai Emery for the antithesis of Pep Guardiola, because that's what this Arteta guy is. He's the exact opposite of Pep Guardiola. He's more like Jose Mourinho than Pep Guardiola. It's actually ridiculous considering how many years he spent with Pep, the kind of defensive football, no shots on target. I love it, bro. I absolutely love it. It's beautiful.
Terrace, you know what? I want to actually finish off on that point, yeah. The one thing Arsenal fans have not realised, what I've noticed, and I've been studying them and listening to them, what I realise is they still think they're the Invincibles. The Invincibles is long gone. Sometimes you have to accept you're not that team anymore. More same way the Leeds fans had to accept it. Nottingham Forest fans. Arsenal's now that team. Except you're not that big team anymore. You're not this great Invincibles. You don't have Thierry Henry anymore. Tony Adams and Sol Campbell and all these guys. You don't have them anymore. Now you are, unfortunately, maybe a top 10, top 15 team in England. That's your standards now.
Not a big team, yeah.
That's your standards now, unfortunately. You know, it's unfortunate. Sometimes you have to come to terms with reality.
You're bang on. Arsenal Football Club remind me. You know, sometimes you have a great boxer who's past their best. They just got David Hay when he returned. He just wasn't there anymore. He couldn't do it anymore. Arsenal were in that position, and as we say, they've got loads of work to be done on their squad. Their manager currently isn't good enough. They're not going to have money that's coming in from Europe, and they've got all these clubs and teams in front of them that are light years in front. So it isn't even just about improving yourself. It's going to take years to catch up with these clubs. They're done. They're absolutely stuck. They're done.
And I don't think there's one player or 5 players that could change Arsenal. I mean, I'm hearing about the Camavinga thing, and my opinion is that the whole basket is dirty, bro. Like, dash the whole basket out. You just throw in Camavinga, he's going to turn into an Arsenal player. You look at what Thomas Partey was doing in the Champions League. All of a sudden, he's not even going to play in the Europa League. It's crazy, bro.
On that, how much do you all think right now Partey is regretting his decision joining Arsenal?
Oh, 100%. 100%. He's probably sitting there like, yo, all I came for was to get a song made about me. And like, you know how mad that is? His highlight is not even him playing football. It's people making a song about him. Like,
I can't believe it.
He could legit be winning La Liga right now with Atletico. And
I genuinely don't know what happened to Partey, because I've been watching him at Atletico and he's been brilliant. They used to always put him on Messi to take Messi out the game, and he used to do it so successfully. He was a brilliant player under Simeone. It just doesn't make no sense.
You know what I think it is? I think he's having to do too many he's having to do too many jobs on his own because his midfield partner isn't doing enough next to him. So you're not getting to see his best attributes because he's too busy trying to cover for everyone else's mistakes. His best partner this year in midfield has been bloody El Neni.
That
says it all.
It's almost as if when a midfielder has balance next to him, you can get the best out of him. I wonder who had to do 3 people's jobs in their team for how many years.
It's true. Balance is so key. It goes on. When you think about the Premier League great midfielders, look, most of them are excellent partners. And I know what Tom's going to say. Nah, Stevie G didn't.
No, I'll give you
Xabi Alonso.
I'll give you
Xabi
Alonso. I'll give you Xabi.
He had Xabi Alonso. Don't try it. Don't try it.
Mascherano. Yeah, Lucas Leiva. You guys loved him off.
No,
when
you
he-
can't. No. You cannot put Lucas Leiva in that list.
No, but
Lucas
listen,
Leiva was a cult hero.
I'm not
That's
letting
it.
you guys rewrite history. I remember you, my friend. I'm going to put you on camera because I can tell.
Yep.
When that man was playing for you,
Mhm.
you were in between breastfeeding and in your dad's ball sack, right? So you don't remember what was being said. Like you were a young man
I
then.
know
Right?
what was said about Lucas Leiva.
You man raved about him. I remember having conversations with Liverpool fans that they were telling me Haman was Scholes level. So you guys have always bigged your
I
players up.
can't talk about Haman.
And then when they failed, you were like, "Oh, they were trash, really." And you only say they're trash to elevate Steven Gerrard when he played with good players. You just weren't good enough as a collective. Super chat here says no funds from from Europe is big. They need to make top 6 to stay afloat next year. I'm loving this as a Chelsea fan. Let's go Blues, FA Cup and Champions League on the way. Super chat here from CCC who says Arteta tax is real. Partey will be world class under an actual manager. Maybe, but he's stuck there for a while. And the worst bit is as well, they've got Aubameyang, 375 grand a week. Partey dying under Mikel Arteta. Willian on £250,000 a week on a 3-year deal. Like, these guys are paying huge wages for these players flopping. It's absolutely in bits. Everyone who's tuned in today, a massive thank you to each and every single one of you. Monstar, KJ, Prime, Tom, Russell, and everyone else that's phoned in today to have their say. Thank you very, very much indeed. We're back later today with more news, more content for you, and we're going to start building up to this massive games all this week. Chelsea play Arsenal, Man United, Leicester, Man United, Liverpool. It actually feels like the NBA this week, where there's just games every single day. It's going to be great. Until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless. See you all again soon.